Yeah, so in 2008, I had what the doctors called a psychotic episode. I was hospitalized, but I think it was more so some kind of spiritual psychosis. And the video prior to this one, I just showed you, his name's Ben Shepherd. He hosts this morning program at the moment. And because he keeps coming on the TV, and when I see him, it just keeps reminding me of this really strange thing that I was experiencing while I was having this psychosis thing that was happening. So basically what happened was, right, basically I was revising, yeah, I was in my last year of doing my degree, yeah, and I was like revising, yeah, for my end of year exams, and I was like going to bed really late. I was staying up like all hours of the night, like till 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And it got to a point where some nights, just before I was having my exam, I wasn't going to sleep at all till like 7-8 o'clock in the morning. And it got to a stage where this happened over 3 or 4 nights. I didn't sleep at all. I think after my exam, after I'd done my exam and everything, for 3 nights, yeah, 3 or 4 nights, I couldn't get to sleep. I was just awake the whole night. And so this can happen to anybody if you don't get enough sleep, if you don't sleep, right? Basically, your sleep is really crucial to your overall health and your overall mental health. And if you don't sleep for like even 2 nights, yeah, you can start to like it can start to affect your thinking, your thought processes in your mind. And you know, you can start to even hallucinate. You can start having hallucinations, delusions, or you can start being like paranoid, all this sort of stuff. So basically that's what happened with me, but it never got to the point where I was like seeing things in front of me. I wasn't hallucinating in this way, or hearing things, you know, I wasn't hearing voices or, you know, seeing things or whatever like that, but it affected like my perception of things around me, you know, the perceptions of stuff. And what I'm gonna like mention like what it is when you have these kind of mental breakdowns, or whatever you want to call it, these mental episodes or whatever you want to call it, yeah. It's really hard, even if you try to explain it verbally to somebody else, obviously, because you're going nuts, yeah, obviously. So if you're gonna talk about it to somebody else, obviously it's gonna sound nuts. It sounds crazy because it is crazy, yeah, because you're going crazy, like you're going mad in your head. So obviously it's going to sound crazy. But when you even try to verbalize to somebody else, like, this is what I was experiencing, you know, and this is what was happening. Like, I'm going to attempt to do that now. And even I know myself, like, what I'm going to attempt to explain is going to sound really fragmented. But it sounds that way because you're trying to explain to the other person, like, it's like, how to explain? You know what it is? This is my best way to explain it. When these kind of things happen, I'll speak for myself. So when this happened to me, the best way I can explain it is, it's like, the best way I can explain what happened was, like I said, for 4 nights, I didn't sleep at all. So my perceptions were the way they would have been if I was sleeping in a dream state. But the thing is that I was awake, and that's what it was like. It was like the way my perceptions were was like having a dream, like I was in a dream-like state, but my eyes were wide open, I was wide awake. And certain things I was experiencing, it's very much like your spirit Yeah, it's like your spiritual being is awake. So it's like your senses, your thoughts, what you're hearing, what you're seeing. You're seeing, you're hearing, and you're sensing, but with your spiritual form, not with your material form. And then so when you come to try and explain that to another person, it's very hard for them to understand what you're trying to explain to them, because what you're trying to explain to them is like a movie. How to explain? It's like you're trying to explain. It's like trying to explain to somebody the story of a movie. I was watching this movie and this happened and that happened and then this happened. But a person has no concept. The person you're explaining this to has no concept of what a movie is. They've never been to the movie. They've never been to the cinema. Yeah, they don't know what a movie is. They don't know what a film is because they've never. That's just not been ever part of their experience. So it's like you're trying to explain, yeah, this movie that you watched, but the person you're explaining it to has got no understanding of what actually a movie is. That's my best way of explaining it. Okay, when you're trying to explain like these spiritual experiences that you've had to somebody who hasn't had this type of, if you want to call it, psychotic episode or whatever type of episode. Okay, but there's certain things that really always I remember. One of the thing is that dude, that host on the TV, Ben Shepherd, I just showed you. Yeah, there was one time I got home and the TV was on, and he was on, I think it was This Morning program, presenting it with Kate Garraway. It was the two of them, and I was watching them, and it was like they were both really emotional. And yeah, how it was, I think this was like an hallucination. I think I was actually hallucinating, but obviously it didn't feel like a hallucination to me. Obviously it felt real to me. And how it was like, it's as if they were showing to me how my emotion inside. And what they were doing was like, their face and the way they were was like, they were full of emotion, but they were trying so hard to hold their emotion back, right? Because maybe they'd heard something, maybe they heard some news that they weren't able to reveal to the public, but because they are in the media, they knew about it. It was this kind of thing. And the way they kept the both of them, it's like 1 minute there was like nearly laughing like this, like nearly laughing, and then the second later there was like we're nearly crying. So there was having this like bipolar thing going on. Like 1 minute there was like, the next minute they were like, and next minute they were like this for I don't know how long, maybe like 5 minutes or something. The two of them, yeah, Ben Shepherd and Kate Garraway. So yeah, it's things like, and I know now that I think it was actually a hallucination. I don't think they were actually on the TV being like this in this emotional state. I think I was just hallucinating this. So that's one thing. That's the first thing. Another thing I remember, when it was around the same time, was that somebody on the news announced that Lewis Hamilton, the race car driver, and I distinctly, even now, I remember hearing it being announced on the news. They said, Lewis Hamilton, the race car driver, has died in an accident, died in a car crash. And for so long, I thought that because of this, I think it was an auditory hallucination that I heard. For so long, I thought that Lewis Hamilton had died. And when I realised, oh no, he hadn't died, he's still alive. That's when I realised, I was like, oh, what was that I heard? Because I could have sworn I heard them announce on the news that he died in an accident. So I must have been hallucinating. I think that was an auditory hallucination. That's the second thing. The third thing I remember There's another presenter, she comes on the BBC News and she's got like reddish, gingerish hair. And I always remember she's got striking blue eyes. I always remember her, yeah, she came on the news and she goes, oh, she goes, these eyes like it's popping out her head. Oh, a miracle's been born in Virginia today. I literally remember her saying this, right? And I don't know what I was doing at the time, if I was, I don't know, whatever, if I was studying, if I was going to college or who was around. But I remember going to work or going to college or asking somebody that I knew. I was saying, I went up to them and I was like, oh, did you see the news? I was like, so what was the miracle in Virginia then? What was that all about? And obviously, because I was going off my head, they didn't have a clue what I was talking about. So they were just giving me this look like, what's she talking about? I went around asking everybody, I think my family even, I was like, what's this miracle, yeah, that they was talking about that happened, yeah, in Virginia? What were they talking about on the news, yeah? Nobody, right, had any clue what I was going on about. So that's the third thing from this spiritual psychotic episode that I had. That's the third thing that I remember. And even till today, I distinctly remember her saying that on the news. But again, I think I was just hallucinating. So yeah, I'm going to talk more about this in my next lot of videos. So take care for now. Look after your mental health. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know if you've experienced any form of like mental health, and how you found that to be, and how you found the professionals who were dealing with your case, how you found it all to be, because I will be talking about all of that as well. So, but I'm coming off this video now because these videos, they're so long. Yeah, I didn't know myself, like, I had so much in my life to say, yeah, and to talk about, because really, to be honest with you as well, another thing lately, yeah, keeps happening when I'm on my lives in TikTok, and lately when I've been on social media, my face, yeah, I keep looking like I'm about to bawl, yeah, like I'm really like emotional, sad, and like I'm about to cry and all this sort of stuff. And I really want to tell you, yeah, however emotional I look, right, or however much I look like I want to cry, right, whatever you think it might be that I want to cry about, okay, it's absolutely nothing to do with what you think it might be, okay. And another thing I've been experiencing, yeah, is like at certain times of the day, all this emotion, it's like it will get stuck and lodged right under my chin, right in my glandular area here and here, yeah, and it's like a blockage in my throat chakra, and it's like something, right, wants to come out, yeah, but it's like it's just getting stuck there. It won't come out. Yeah, sometimes I'm having this feeling also, and I don't know what it is. Maybe that's why I'm doing this series of videos. Maybe I've just got a lot to say, which I'm not actually voicing and getting out there into the ether. Maybe that's why I'm on social media while I'm doing this series of uploads. Maybe it's like a spiritual download that just needs to come out, as crude as I feel, you know, doing these uploads right now. Yeah, as crude and as spontaneous they are, yeah. Maybe it's what I need to actually, maybe it's the spirit, yeah. It's urging me. This is like a calling that I need to actually do and get out and express out into the world. Maybe that's what it is, what's going on. But watch part 2. Thanks. Like, leave a comment, share, subscribe.